You can see down here, bits of ash are flying all over the place.
They plan to actually manage, I can understand probably maybe some controlled chaos.
Let me show you, Jennifer. Let me show you what they're going to do. They've got one of the best crowd control methods known to man. It's called the orange cone. Everybody stays away from the orange cone. It's very important to have those.
First on 5, we have breaking news. If you look down here at my feet, you can see just how dry it is. And elsewhere, you can see remnants of this fire.
I'm decked out in some of this ensemble right now. Let me show you some of this stuff. For example, down here.
You can hardly play ball here. Your umpire's a bush, and you can barely see your way to first base. Traveling toward Baldwin County from Mobile, what you'll see, I just think back to my last contract negotiation, and that's the experience that I have. Whether or not people feel comfortable buying Gulf seafood again. Let me show you something. Now, I used to be scolded in grade school for doing this, but well, thank goodness you survived. Look down on the ground. You see how this grass is very chewed up, stuck in the mud. We're gonna fall. We got a stack of pallets right here. We've got 2 French barricades clearly indicating that this store is closed to customers. Are still standing, and that's kind of a miracle. In covering the aftermath of these deadly storms for the last 3 days, one thing I hear from people over and over again is they tell me, hey, if you think it's bad here, just go down the road a ways. And that's one thing I'm noticing. The more you travel and the more you look for damage, the worse it seems to get. In Hackleburg, the destruction is so extensive, the skyline of the town isn't the same.
This was a whole neighborhood. There was about 500 houses here, and it's all gone. You can see right through to the city water tower now, but before, from right here, you could only just see the top of it because this was solid trees and houses.
Local officials estimate 90% of Hackleburg has been destroyed. Hardly anyone or anything escaped without being touched by the storm.
Think of it this way, they've lost a gas station they had, they lost a doctor's office, they lost a pharmacy store, they lost a major industry. All 3 schools has been wiped out. The middle school, elementary school, and high school is also gone. So it's going to be a major rebuilding process, but I'm sure that we can.
So far, 29 people have been reported dead here, and 35 total in Marion County, the highest in the state per capita. With an uphill battle against rubble during the day, some have to contend with robbers at night.
We've had martial law basically enforced from 7 to 7 after dark. Really after dark, we've run everybody out, but we have made a couple of arrests where people have actually come in and started looting.
Principal Joan Baker tries to salvage what she can from the elementary school. Once orderly classrooms are ruined, and this is where students usually go during a storm. Had school not been preemptively canceled Wednesday, things could have been a lot worse.
You think things are always going to be the way they are. You think you'll always have a school in a town, but you can take nothing for granted in life.
I could spend a week here and still not come close to fully documenting all the damage. Now homeowners are digging out, and volunteers are digging in as Hackleburg begins the long road to recovery. Chad Petri, News 5.
A month from now or just a few days, it doesn't matter. Some farmers say their workforce will be gone by then. As News 5's Chad Petri reports, this is such a hot-button issue, many of the people who hire Hispanic workers don't want to talk about it.
The sound of Spanish echoes over this field of sweet potatoes. About 22 Hispanic workers are making their wages at Penry Farms today.
Everybody's just, in a holding pattern waiting to see what's going to happen.
Daniel Penry says he's following the law, but he believes the new immigration law will scare away workers.
I just wish that Alabama would wake up and just see what this law is going to do to human beings.
Penry's brave. Talk to most farmers about the immigration law, and you'll get this. Okay, but there's no one available to talk right now? I talked to dozens of farmers, nurseries, and others that hire Hispanic labor. Most said there are fewer out there, but they don't want to talk about it on camera. What you're saying is that a lot of farms are going to be afraid to talk about this. Afraid they'll be the target of state or federal immigration officials.
Because I guess we don't want any more trouble. We've already got ton of stuff we got to do now to be legal and all that kind of stuff, and it's just something else added on.
The owner of this nursery asked me not to use his name or face. He's also seen some of the Hispanic workforce flee at other businesses.
I know just a lot of landscapers, cement people, a lot of their labor has left, you know, because they've gone to other states to where the labor law is not in effect.
Some worry they won't have the workforce they need, and many times immigrants seem to be the only ones willing to work long hours in the field. Chad Petri, News 5.
It's the zookeeper's job to help clean it up every day.
As part of our continuing series, Tough Stuff, News 5's Chad Petri spent the day at the Zoo of Northwest Florida yesterday. Yes, he took his job very seriously. As he'll show us, if you can hold your breath, you can handle a zoo.
While the rhino is safely behind his iron bars, I litter his yard with some brown banana treats. Bananas for you. Bananas for the rhino. Feeding time. My guide this morning is Amber Myers. She says her passion and commitment for animals is all the reward she needs.
Not anybody can say that they've been that close to a black rhino, an almost extinct animal, or a hippo, been able to, you know, train and command so that you're able to cut its teeth or trim its teeth or, you know, be that close to it.
Top number, 5.6 kilovolts.
Awesome.
After making sure the electric fence is energized.
Listen, there's some nice stuff in your yard. I left that there.
We coax the young rhino into the yard. An animal this big moves at his own pace.
You have to be able to read your own animal. That way you know what they're displaying to you. That way you can react upon that. Obviously, if they're in a bad mood, I'm going to leave them alone that day. Because ultimately, it's whatever they want to do.
Moving through the zoo's 30-acre preserve, we check on the well-being of other animals, like these deer. These great American kudu share a pen with African brown hornbills. They're birds of prey.
And these two
they get mice and chicks for a snack. But you have to let them think they're still in charge by dangling it in front of them.
Other bird of prey. Hey, looky.
You want them to think that they're the ones killing it. So you dangle it, they think it's alive, they're going to be more apt to come up and try to eat it.
I've heard of ants on a log. This is meat on a log. Ugh. The birds also get raw meat. The strange food and close contact with animal waste doesn't faze Myers.
Just wipe it on your jeans and, you know, get on to the next thing. And maybe at lunch I'll be like, oh, I wonder if I washed my hands today. But it's just something, I've done it for so long that it doesn't affect me.
So he's opening his mouth to let you know he's the bigger guy.
Yeah, he wins. Don't worry.
Yeah.
At a few hundred pounds apiece, these Nile River hippos named Kaboku and Cleo are very imposing. First, we have to clean their bedrooms and then move them in.
Shifting hippo, over.
Zoo workers tell each other when they're moving an animal. If an accident happens, everyone's on the same page. With massive steel bars, a confrontation is unlikely. The poo's more dangerous.
Oh, it's warm. It's soft. Oh.
Anything that was left for us, we had to pick up, and that's just a basic, you know, cleanly standards. You want to pick it up and make the yard look as nice for the people, and obviously, you know, keep it disease-free for the animals.
Hippos have big mouths and even bigger appetites.
Oddly enough, this is how my father used to feed me.
They're fed bucketfuls of feed and will shut their mouths when full. Cleo also gets her own form of hippo birth control.
Cleo, open.
There you go. She's got it.
All right.
And then we're going to give her this.
Pregnancy prevented.
The hippos are ushered back to their watering hole, and the bedroom cleanup resumes anew. This time I hose down the pens with the same water they bathe in.
So I'm spraying their poop poles with their poo water.
We end the day bringing food to camels and birds. Amber Myers says even though she comes home smelling strange, there's nothing she'd rather do.
With passion, commitment, and just the love for animals.
Amber Myers says she does rounds on her animals every day. She says the animal friends she has more than makes up for her low salary. She says she's never caught a zoo-borne illness. And so far,
That's good to know.
That was good news. All right.
You are a natural, Chad. I mean, I never thought you could just walk into something and just feel so at home as you obviously did there.
The one thing we have to point out is that after I got done cleaning what I thought was enough poo, that's when Amber came in and finished the job. Because I didn't quite get it. I think I couldn't tell the difference between the dirt and the waste.
So what was your favorite part of the job?
My favorite part was leaving and washing my hands and feet.
At least least he's honest.
Did you have like gloves or anything? Or?
No, most of the stuff was shoveled, but some of the stuff you had to get by hand. But that was rarer. But again, you wash your hands and then it's over. You feel better.
It's going to take Chad a few weeks to get over this.